Good evening, guys. All of you can see my screen. Please confirm. Is my screen visible? Yeah, perfect. Good evening, everyone. All of you, welcome to Gradle workshop today. So, as part of today's workshop, what we are going to learn. So today we will discuss what is the build tool and why we need to go for build tools. There are several build tools available in the market. What is build tool? Why we need to go for build tools? What is Maven and Gradle? What are the differences between Maven and Gradle? And how to set up Gradle software in our system, and how to create Gradle projects, and what are the folders will be created in the Gradle project. Basically, Gradle project folder structure we need to discuss. Then what is build script and what is the task in the Gradle? How to add dependencies in the Gradle project like MySQL connectors or Spring dependencies or Servlet dependencies. How can we add them? And how to add repositories in the Gradle to get the dependencies. And the most important thing, what is Gradle wrapper and how to build Java projects by using Gradle, and conclusion. So as part of today's session, we are going to understand these topics which are displaying here. What is build tool? Why we need to go for build tools? Maven versus Gradle, Gradle setup, creating Gradle project folders, project structure, build scripts and tasks, adding the dependencies to the Gradle project, adding repositories in the Gradle project, and what is Gradle wrapper, and how to build Java projects by using Gradle, and conclusion. Are you clear with our workshop agenda? Guys, are you clear with our workshop agenda for today? Please respond. I want everyone to respond to my questions in the chat box. If you are responding, then I will get more energy to give you more subject. Don't just sit idle. Please respond to my questions in the chat box. Perfect. All right, let's get started. First of all, we need to discuss what is this Gradle and what is build tool, why we need to go for build tools. Gradle tool. Gradle tool, not only for developers, even for DevOps people also, this Gradle tool is very, very important. Okay, so what is this Gradle? So Gradle is called as build tool, just like Maven and Ant. Gradle is an open source build automation tool. It is an open source build automation tool. Build automation tool. It was released in the year of 2007. Gradle was initially released in the year of 2007. Stable release came into market in the year of 2009. Stable release came in 2009. Gradle is an open source build automation tool that got released in the year of 2007. Stable release came into market in the year of 2009. Okay, guys, 2019. The stable release came in the market in 2009, right? Now, Gradle has taken the advantages of both Ant and Maven. Gradle has taken advantages of both Ant and Maven. Before Gradle, Ant and Maven are used as build tools. This Gradle has taken the advantages of both Ant and Maven and removed disadvantages of Ant and Maven. What are the benefits available in the Ant and Maven build tools? Gradle has incorporated those advantages and what are the challenges available in the Ant and Maven, and removed drawbacks of them. Okay, now Gradle tool developed using Groovy language. Okay, guys, it is written Gradle written in Groovy language. Gradle written in Groovy language. Sir, do we need to learn Groovy to work with the Gradle? Not required. So Gradle software that developed by using Groovy language, but we don't need to learn that Gradle. Gradle makes build automation easy. Gradle tool makes build automation process easy. Gradle tool makes project build automation easy. Okay, guys. Gradle makes build automation process very easy. All right. Are you guys getting my point? So we are talking about Gradle. Sorry, guys, my stream was stuck. Okay. Yeah. Can you see that now? Can you see my screen now? Yeah. So what is Gradle? Gradle is an open source build automation tool. Gradle is an open source build automation tool. Okay. It released in the year of 2007. Okay. Gradle has taken advantages of both Ant and Maven and removed disadvantages of Ant and Maven. Gradle written in Groovy language. Gradle tool makes project build automation process easy. Gradle makes project build automation process very easy. So when I compare Maven and Gradle, Gradle is having some advantages than Maven. Okay. Gradle is used by large projects like Spring, Hibernate, etc. Gradle tool used by large community projects, large projects like Hibernate and Spring. Hibernate and Spring projects are using Gradle as a build tool because of advantages available in the Gradle. Hibernate project is using Gradle as a build tool. Spring project also using Gradle as a build tool. Gradle tool used by large projects like Hibernate and Spring. And some leading enterprise companies also using Gradle like LinkedIn, Naukri, Netflix. These companies are also using Gradle as their project build tool. Okay, so today we are here to discuss about the Gradle. So what is this Gradle? Gradle is an open source build automation tool. This Gradle released in the year of 2007. Gradle tool has taken advantages of both Ant and Maven and removed disadvantages of both. What are the drawbacks available in the Ant and Maven? Those disadvantages are removed from Gradle. Whatever the advantages are available, Gradle has taken the advantages of them. This Gradle tool developed in Groovy language, but we no need to learn that Groovy language to work with the Gradle. It is developed in the Groovy language. Gradle tool makes project build automation process easy. Gradle tool used by large projects like Hibernate and Spring. So Gradle is a build tool. What is build tool and what is build process? What is project build process? If we want to understand the Gradle first we need to understand what is a project build process. Okay, so project build process. Developers will write the code and will keep in the repository. So once we write the code, can we deliver the code directly to the client, guys? Whatever the code is done by the developers, can we deliver that code as it is to the client? Can we develop whatever the code we have developed? Can we deliver that code to the client as it is? No, clients cannot understand. Project build process contains several phases. Every project build process contains several phases. Okay, several phases will be available. What phases will be available in the build process? So to perform the project build process, first we need to download required dependencies for the project. Download required dependencies. For example, if you are working with database, then we need to download JDBC driver. If you are working with Hibernate, we need to download Hibernate jars. We need to download Spring jars, etc. When we are developing a Java project, Our Java project needs JDBC driver. Our Java project needs Hibernate jar files, and our project needs Spring jar files, Spring Boot jar files. So we need to download required dependencies of our project. Then only we can develop the code, or we can compile our code. Downloading the required dependencies, one of the build phase step. It is the first step in the build process. Second one, add dependencies in the build path. Add dependencies to project build path. Downloading the dependencies one step. After downloading the dependencies, we need to add the dependencies to project build path. So project build process contains several phases. So we need to download required dependencies for the project. We need to download required dependencies for the project. After downloading the dependencies, we need to add the dependencies to project build path. Add the dependencies to project build path. Once after adding the dependencies to the build path, compile the project to source code. We need to compile source code of the project. Compile project to source code. So whatever the source code is developed by the developers, that project to source code should be compiled. So compiling the source code manually is very difficult because so many classes will be available in the project. It may be 100, it may be 200, it may be 300, it may be 1,000, 10,000 also. Compiling that source code manually is very difficult. So that's why we need a build tool to automate all the process that we are doing manually. So if you are developing a project, we need to download required dependencies for the project. After downloading the required dependencies, we need to add the dependencies to project build path, and we need to compile project to source code. So after compiling the source code, execute unit test cases. Execute unit tests. What are the unit tests are available in the project? Those unit tests should be executed. Package, application package project as a jar or war file. That is executable artifact. Executable artifact. Some projects will be executed as a jar file. Some projects will be executed as a war file. Basically, standalone applications will be packaged as jar files and web applications will be packaged as war files. So this is called build process of every project. So what are the phases involved in the build process? Downloading required dependencies. What are the jars that are required for our project? We need to download the required dependencies and we need to add the dependencies to the project to build path. Whatever the jars we have downloaded, we need to add the jar files to the project to build path, and we need to compile the source code of the project. Developers will write the .java files. Those .java files we can't execute directly. We need to compile that source code into .class files. Once the source code is compiled, then we need to execute unit tests of our project. We need to execute unit tests of our project. Once unit tests are executed, we need to package the project as a jar file or war file. So this is called build process. So for every project, build process is mandatory. Build process is going to convert the project source code into executable file. By performing above steps, we will convert project to source code into executable file. Okay. By performing above steps, we will convert the project to source code into executable file. Whatever the source code is developed by the developers, that source code we can't execute it directly. So we need to follow some steps in order to convert that source code into executable file. Whatever the steps that we are going to follow to convert the source code into executable file, that is called as build process in the project. Developers has to perform this build process in the local, and the DevOps engineers has to perform this build process in the higher environments. So as a developer, when we are writing the code, we need to test our code is working as expected or not. In our local system, we need to follow the build process. Once we are done with the coding process, then to deploy that code into the servers environments, DevOps engineers has to perform this build process. So instead of doing this build process manually, we can take the help of build tools to automate the build process. So now to automate the above steps in the build process, there are several tools available. Those tools are called as build tools. Build tools are used to automate build process of the project. Okay, guys. Build tools are used to automate build process of the project. Now you got the clarity. What is a build process? Downloading the required dependencies, adding the dependencies to the project build path, compiling the project source code, executing the unit test cases, packaging the project as a jar file or war file. Basically, whatever the code is done by the developers, that code should be converted into executable format, either as a jar file or war file. So by using these above steps, we can convert that code into executable jar or var. So the process of doing all these steps is called as build process. Earlier, people used to perform this build process manually. But we can automate the build process by using build tools available in the market. What is the purpose of build tools? Build tools are used to automate build process of the projects. So what are the build tools that are available in the market? Earlier, people used to work with Ant as a build tool. After the Ant, Maven came into picture. After the Maven, Gradle came into picture. So what are the build tools available in the market? Ant build tool, that was very old and outdated build tool. After the Ant, Maven build tool came into picture. After the Maven, Gradle build tool came into picture. Currently, Gradle is having more demand in the market. Okay, I will explain you why Gradle is having more demand than Maven. What are the differences between the Maven and Gradle also we are going to understand today. So are you guys able to understand what is build process and what is build tool? What is the advantage of going for build tool? So build tools are used to automate build process of the projects. Build tools are used to convert the source code into executable file. Build tools are used to convert project source code into executable file. Build tools are used to convert project source code into executable file. What is Gradle? Gradle is an open source build tool that got released in the year of 2007. Gradle has taken the advantages of the both Ant and Maven and removed disadvantages of both. Gradle is written in the Groovy language. Gradle tool makes project build automation process easy. Okay, Gradle tool used by large projects like Hibernate and Spring. First of all, before going to understand the Gradle, what is build process? So these steps are called as build process. We need to, if you want to execute a project, to execute that project, first we need to compile. To compile that project, we need some dependencies like JDBC driver, Hibernate, Spring, etc. Download the required dependencies for the project, add the dependencies to the project build path, and compile the project source code, then execute unit test cases of the project, then package that project as a jar file or war file. Okay, these steps we need to do manually. Instead of doing these steps manually, we can use build tools. What is the purpose of build tools? Build tools are used to automate build process of the projects. Build tools are going to help us to convert project source code into executable file. Whatever the steps that we are doing in the build process manually, all the steps can be automated by using build tools. So what are the build tools that are available in the market? What are the build tools available in the market? Ant is one build tool. Maven is one build tool. Gradle is also one build tool. Ant, Maven, and Gradle, these are called as build tools. So today we are going to understand Gradle. Okay, guys. Now, Gradle setup. So in order to work with the Gradle, first we need to set up the Gradle. Now, to set up the Gradle, Java software is required, guys. So now, first we need to check Java software is installed in our system or not. Gradle setup. Check Java is installed or not. Check Java is installed or not. If Java software is installed, then download Gradle zip file. Download the Gradle zip file and extract it. Set the path for Gradle. Set path for Gradle in environment variables. Okay. Check the Gradle version. Check Gradle version. That's it. Like this, we are going to set up Gradle. So check Java is installed or not in your machine. If not installed, install Java. If not available, install Java. Java is mandatory to run the Gradle. Check Java is installed or not in your system. If Java is not available, then you need to install the Java. Once the Java software is available in your system, then download Gradle software as a zip file. Download Gradle software as zip file and extract that zip file. Once we have extracted that zip file, then set the path for Gradle in the environment variables. Once the path setup is completed for the Gradle in the environment variable, then check the Gradle version. Really, Gradle is working or not. If Gradle is working, then we can start using the Gradle to create the projects. Okay, guys, first let me open command prompt. In the command prompt, I'm going to check my Java software is working or not. So how to verify Java is working or not? Java-version. Java-version. When I execute Java-version, you can see Java version is available in my machine. Java 1.8 version is already available in my machine. So I'm good with Java. Once we are good with Java, then download Gradle software as a zip file and extract it. How to download it? Directly you can go for official website. Download Gradle. Gradle.org website is available. Directly you can go to gradle.org and you can download that and we can install it. Okay, additional resources, install the Gradle, install manually, download the latest Gradle distribution. The current Gradle release is version 7.6, released on the 25th November 2022. The distribution zip file comes in two flavors, binary only, and complete with the docs and sources. We don't need the documentation and the source code. So we can say Gradle is free and open source. Even Gradle source code is also available. You can download, and if you want, you can customize that. So just click on binary only. When I click on binary only, Gradle zip file will be downloaded. So your download should start shortly. If does not, use the direct link. Already I have downloaded that. See here, you can see Gradle, that zip file is getting downloaded. Once the Gradle zip file is downloaded, we just need to extract that zip file. Go to downloads folder. So Gradle zip file is downloaded. Okay, guys. So simply extract that zip file. Simply extract that zip file. Extract to Gradle folder. Now, extraction got completed. Once this extraction got completed, go to the Gradle folder. In the Gradle folder, you can see bin directory. That is gradle.bat. So for this Gradle bin directory, we need to set the path in our environment variables. Understand? Go to system variables, edit our system variables, edit the system environment variables. In the environment variables, you can go to path and check that Gradle path is available or not. If you observe here, Gradle path should be there. You see here, C user Ashok classes software's Gradle 7.6 bin. Already I have configured path for the Gradle. So if this Gradle path is not available, we need to add that path in the environment variables. So how to add the path in the environment variables? Let me take this here. I have softwares folder. I have already downloaded that. In the softwares folder, my Gradle 7.6 folder is available. Bin directory is available. Take the path of the Gradle up to bin directory. Then edit system variables. Edit the system variables. Once we edit the system variable, go to this environment variable section. Go to path. Click on edit. Here, we don't have the Gradle path. Now, click on new. I'm setting the path for the Gradle. Gradle up to bin directory. Click on OK, click on OK, click on OK. That's it. So with this, I'm able to set up the path for Gradle. How to check the Gradle is working or not? Simply go to command prompt. Go to command prompt and check Gradle-V. When I click on this Gradle-V, yes, Gradle 7.6 version is working in my system. It is working in my system. Are you guys clear with my point? So with this, are you able to understand how to set up the Gradle in your machine? Are you able to understand how to set up the Gradle in your machine? Yes or no? So Java is mandatory. First, Java software should be installed in your system. If Java is not available, please set up the Java. Once it is available, download Gradle software as zip file and extract it. From where we need to download the Gradle? Gradle.org website. Okay, guys, Gradle.org website is available. From here, you can set up that. From here, you can download Gradle. Okay, guys, from here you can download the Gradle and you can set up that Gradle. Let me save these notes. Perfect. So check Java is installed or not, then download this zip file. You can install Java 8 or any higher version of the Java also, no problem. By using this Gradle, we can accelerate developer productivity. Install the Gradle. When you click on the install the Gradle, here you have the option to download. Okay, you can download the Gradle manually and you can download it. If you are using Linux operating system, so they have given the steps to install the Gradle in the Linux operating system also. The documentation is very clear to download the Gradle in the Windows and as well as in the Linux operating system also. Okay, fine. So in the Windows, if you are using Gradle, then set the Gradle path in the environment variables. After setting the path, check the Gradle version. How we are checking the Gradle version? Gradle-V. How we are checking the Java version? By using Java-version. Java version command will tell you Java software is installed in your machine or not. Fine. Gradle-V command will tell you Gradle is installed in your machine or not. Once the Gradle installation got completed, we are good to go. We are good to go. Now, guys, in the Gradle, if you want to create a project, then you will use a command simple Gradle init command, which is used to initialize the Gradle. Gradle init command is used to initialize the Gradle. Now, let me go to my folder. I will open command prompt. From there, I will use Gradle init command. So what is the purpose of Gradle init command? Gradle init command is used to create the project by using Gradle. Okay, so let me go to here CMD. I'm opening the command prompt. I'm opening the command prompt. Now I'm executing a command called Gradle init command. Just observe. I'm executing a command called Gradle init command. It is starting the Gradle daemon. It will ask me, hey boss, what do you want to do with the Gradle? Gradle setup is completed and I'm executing Gradle init command. It is asking me, hey boss, what do you want to do with the Gradle? Do you want to create one application in the Gradle? Or do you want to create one library by using Gradle? Do you want to create one plugin by using Gradle? I want to create one application by using Gradle. So choose one option. So when I execute this program, it is saying that select type of the project to generate. Do you want to generate a basic application? Or do you want to generate one complete application? Do you want to generate one library? Do you want to generate one plugin? What is your option? From 1 to 4, you select it. I want to generate one application. I'm giving 2, option 2. When I click on option 2, it is asking, select implementation language. Which type of project you want to develop? Do you want to develop C++ project? Do you want to develop Groovy project? Do you want to develop Java project? Or you want to use a Kotlin project? Or you want to use a Scala? Or you want to use a Shift? What type of project you want to develop by using Gradle? Here comes the difference between Maven and Gradle. Maven is used to develop only Java projects, but Gradle not only for Java, It is supporting for C++, supporting for Groovy, supporting for Kotlin, supporting for Scala, supporting for Shift also. So Gradle is universal build tool, not only for Java. You can use Gradle for other languages also. Whereas Maven can be used only for Java projects. Gradle can be used for Java as well as for other projects also. Now, what type of language you want to use to create the project? I want to create the Java project. Give the option 3. Now, when I give option 3, it is asking, so split functionality across sub-projects, or do you want to create only one project, or do you want to create multiple projects? I want to create only one project now. Give option 1. When I give option 1, it is asking build script. So build script is nothing but a script file which Gradle will use to perform the build process. I want to tell to Gradle, hey Gradle, download Spring jar files. Hey Gradle, add the jar files to build path. Hey Gradle, compile my project source code. Gradle, package my project as a jar file. So all these build process steps I want to give for the Gradle. So that the build script we need to write. Do you want to write the build script by using Groovy, or do you want to write it by using Kotlin? I want to write the build script by using Groovy. I'm giving the option as 1. Okay, when I give the option as 1, generate build using new APIs and behaviors. Some features may change in the next minor release. Default option, no, I don't want any new changes here. Now, which testing framework you want for Java project? To perform unit testing, which test framework we are going to use? I will use some JUnit 4. Give the option 1. Right. When I give the option 1, what is the project name you want? Do you want the project name as current directory name? My current directory name is Gradle Workshop. Do you want same thing as a project name? No, I will give my project name as my Gradle app 1. Okay, what is the default package name you want? The default package name I want as in.Ashok IT. Finally, my build is successful. That means I'm able to create one project by using Gradle. So what is the command that I have used to create a project by using Gradle? Gradle init command. The command that I used to create the Gradle project is Gradle init command. When I execute Gradle init command, Gradle daemon started. It asked me, boss, what type of project you want to generate by using Gradle? Which language you want to use to develop that project? Okay. What is the build script language that you want to use in your project? Which testing framework you want to use in your project? What is the name that you want for your project? What is the package name you want in the project? It is asking all the details. Based on the given details, Gradle generated one project for us. Let us go here. Gradle generated one project for me. So whenever you create a Gradle project, the project structure is going to look like this. When we create a Gradle project, these are the options that we have given. So whenever we generate a Gradle project structure is going to look like this. If you open the Gradle project in the IDE, so you can see that left side screenshot, like this, a Gradle project will look like in the IDE. If you see in the Gradle project, what are the folders will be created? The most important thing in the Gradle, that is Gradle.build file. That is the build.Gradle. In the build.Gradle, we are going to write our Gradle build script. That means from where it has to download the dependencies, what dependencies it has to download, how to test those classes in the project, how to compile, how to package, all the build related configuration we are going to write inside build.Gradle. You see, build.Gradle file got generated here. Okay, inside the Gradle, here inside the app, you can see build.Gradle file got generated. Build.Gradle file contains Gradle configuration. So in the Maven, we will have a pom.xml to do the Maven configuration. In the Gradle, we have build.Gradle. In the Maven, we have pom.xml. In the Gradle, we will have build.Gradle. Right. And one more directory is available, Gradle directory. Inside the Gradle directory, there is a wrapper. Gradle wrapper is available. Gradle wrapper is very useful concept. Sir, what is this Gradle wrapper? What this Gradle wrapper will do? Gradle wrapper will run the Gradle without installing in the another computer. Now, I have installed Gradle in my system. I created a Gradle project in my system. If I give this Gradle project for you, without installing the Gradle software, you can run in your system because Gradle wrapper will take care of the Gradle installation in your system. So now if you go for Maven, if you want to run the Maven in your computer, you will need to install the Maven, then only you can build Maven project. If I want Maven to build in my project, I need to install Maven, then I can build it. So to execute the Maven commands, we need to install the Maven first. Whereas in the Gradle, that installation is not required. Already I have installed Gradle. I have created the Gradle project. Okay. So if I give this Gradle project for you, you can execute the Gradle project. You can build the Gradle project in your system without installing the Gradle. That is called Gradle wrapper. Gradle wrapper will provide you the Gradle runtime to build your Gradle project. Are you guys clear with my point? So if you want to execute, if you want to build a project by using Maven, Maven software is mandatory in our system. If you want to build a project by using Maven, Maven should be installed in our system, then only we can build it by using Maven. But for Gradle, it is not like that. In one system, we will install the Gradle and we will create a Gradle project. That a Gradle project we can build in any system because Gradle wrapper will take care of the runtime. So to install the Gradle in your system, Gradle wrapper will be used. Okay, so in that Gradle wrapper jar file available, Gradle wrapper properties available. That means to run the Gradle wrapper in your system, what settings are required, what configurations are required, those configurations will be part of Gradle wrapper. What settings that are required, what configurations that are required to run the Gradle in any machine, that configuration will be part of Gradle wrapper. So as we are using Gradle wrapper, we no need to install the Gradle in all the computers to use that Gradle. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Gradle wrapper is going to allow you to build the project by using Gradle without installing the Gradle. Now, Gradle W. So Gradle W is the wrapper for Linux and Mac operating systems. Gradle w.bat file, this is the wrapper for Windows. So now, if I give the Gradle project for you, you can run that Gradle project by using Gradle w.bat file. That is a Gradle wrapper file for Windows operating system. Fifth one. If you want to use the Gradle project in the Linux machine, you can use Gradle W, fourth one, as a Gradle wrapper. To create these Gradle wrapper files, these Gradle wrapper jar, Gradle wrapper properties files are available. Settings.gradle file will contain our project details. That means our project name. If I open settings.gradle, in the settings.gradle, my project name. So when I am creating the project, I have given the project name, right? That project name is available in the settings.gradle file. Settings.gradle file will contain our project details. Gradle w.bat, it is the wrapper to execute Gradle related commands in the Windows machine without installing the Gradle software. Gradle W, so that is used to execute the Gradle commands in the Linux machine without installing the Gradle. This is the fourth one is the wrapper for Linux and Mac operating systems. Fifth one is the wrapper for Windows operating system. So wrapper jar, wrapper properties are the files which are used to create the Gradle wrappers for Windows as well as Linux. Build.gradle, that is the most important file in the Gradle. Build.gradle file is the one where we will write our script. For example, I want MySQL connector jar file for my project. MySQL connector is a dependency for my project. I will tell to Gradle, hey Gradle, please download MySQL connector. That configuration I will write in the build.gradle. Hey Gradle, I want Hibernate jar file. I will configure Hibernate jar file in the build.gradle. I want to Spring Boot. Hey Gradle, download the Spring Boot dependency for my project and add it to the build path. So whatever the build process that we want to do, we will inform to the Gradle by using build.gradle script file. If the people are using Maven, that is equal to pom.xml. In the Maven, we will have pom.xml. In the Gradle, we have build.gradle. So what is the difference between Gradle and a Maven? If you want to do the Maven build, Maven software should be installed in your system. But for the Gradle, it is not required. By using Gradle wrapper, we can run the Gradle in any machine without installing it. Okay, so that script file in the pom.xml, in the Maven, script file is a XML configuration. Whereas in the Gradle, the script you can write by using Groovy language, or you can write it by using Kotlin. So in today's session, I will explain how to write that script by using Groovy language. It is very easy, very easy. Are you guys able to understand these files, guys? So whenever we want to create the Gradle project, you are going to use the option called Gradle init. So to create a project using Gradle, we will use below command. We will use below command, Gradle init. When I use a Gradle init, it is asking several options. If you want, I will create one more project. Okay, so mkdir, I'm creating one project called Gradle new app. CD space Gradle new app. I created a directory called Gradle new app. Now I want to check Java is available or not. Yes, Java is available. Gradle is available or not. Yes, Gradle is also available. Now we can create a Gradle project. What is the command which we use to create a Gradle project? That is Gradle init. It is used to create the new Gradle project. Let me go to this directory and check it. Is there anything available? Gradle new app. This is empty directory. This is empty folder. There is nothing available in this directory. I'm executing Gradle init command. When I execute Gradle init command, what will happen? It is asking me what you want to do with the Gradle. Boss, what do you want to create? Do you want to create a basic app, or do you want to create one complete application? Do you want to create a library? Do you want to create a Gradle plugin? So I want to create one application. Choose option 2. I want to build one application. Which language you want to use to create that application? By using Java. Now, do you want multiple sub projects, or do you want single project? I want to create single project. What is the build script language you want to use? Build DSL. DSL stands for domain specific language. I want to use Groovy as a build script file. No changes of API. Which testing framework you want to use? JUnit 4. Now, what is the project name? Default, Gradle new app. Okay, what is the package name you want? Same package name, no problem. Sorry, package name init is not valid. Gradle new.app. It may contain invalid characters or reserved words. You can't use Gradle as a package name, so it went wrong. Build failed. Let me do the creation once again. Let me delete everything here. Package name was given incorrectly. Gradle init to create a new project. Gradle init. Now I want to create one application. Create it by using Java. Created by using Java, not sub projects. Okay, Groovy is the DSL language. No. Now JUnit 4 is the unit testing framework. Project name as it is. Package name, let me give it as in.Ashok IT. Okay, now finally my build is successful. Now you can see I have created one more project. Gradle w.bat, Gradle w, settings.gradle, and Gradle wrapper is created, and inside that build.gradle file is available. Those are key components of the Gradle. What are the key components of the Gradle? Build.gradle, and we have Gradle w, and we have Gradle w.bat, and we have settings.gradle. We have settings.gradle. So what are these files? These are the key components in the Gradle. So build.gradle, it is Gradle script configuration file. It is Gradle build script file. build script file. You can use this Groovy or Kotlin to write this. This file we are going to create by using DSL, domain specific language. You can use this domain specific language, means based on the language it is going to work. You can use it for Java, you can use it for Kotlin, you can use it for C++, and you can use it for Android also. Domain specific means language is not important here. Build.Gradle. It is Gradle build script file. So we are going to configure our dependencies in the build.Gradle file only. Gradle W. It is a wrapper to run the Gradle in the Linux and Mac. It is a wrapper to run Gradle in Linux and Mac OS machines. If you want to run Gradle build in the Linux machine, you no need to install. You can use this Gradle W wrapper. It is a wrapper to run the Gradle in the Linux and Mac operating system machines. Then Gradle W.bat. It is a wrapper. It is a wrapper to run Gradle in Windows machines. It is a wrapper to run the Gradle in Windows machines. Settings.Gradle to configure global settings. To configure global settings of Gradle project. So project name and all, any global settings that you want to do, that global settings you can configure by using settings.Gradle file. Build.Gradle. Build.Gradle file, it contains the build script of the Gradle. Okay, so build.Gradle, it is equal to pom.xml in the Maven, where we will configure. In the Maven, pom.xml file contains Maven configuration. In the Gradle, build.Gradle file contains Gradle configuration. Gradle W, it is a wrapper to run the Gradle in the Linux machine. That means, as I told you, you no need to install the Gradle in every machine where you want to run the Gradle. Okay, so because Gradle will provide you a wrapper, using that wrapper, you can run the Gradle without installing. Gradle W is a wrapper which will work in the Linux and Windows, in the Linux and Mac machines. Okay, guys. Now, if you want to use Gradle, then you can go for Gradle W.bat. Settings.Gradle to configure global settings of the Gradle project. To configure global settings of the Gradle project. Okay, so with this, our Gradle project is created. Once the Gradle project is created, SRC main Java, SRC test Java will be created, and build.Gradle file, Gradle W, Gradle W.bat, settings.Gradle. So what is this build.Gradle? Build Gradle, the main build configuration file. The build script we are going to write in the build.Gradle. So Gradle W, Gradle wrapper script. Gradle W is used to work with the Gradle in the Windows and Linux versions. Bat file will be used in the Windows. Normal Gradle file will be used in the Linux and Mac machines. Settings.Gradle, it is used to set the project details. By using this settings.Gradle, we can set the global settings of our project. So these are the key components available in the Gradle project folder structure. Guys, do you understand? Do you understand the key components of this Gradle? Yes. Okay. So once this Gradle is available, see the app, SRC, main, Java, in Ashok IT, app.java. One Java class is created by default. One Java class is created by default in this application. Okay. Similarly, one test class also created by default. Test Java in.ashokit.apptest.java. One JUnit test class also created by default. So we asked this Gradle to create a sample Java project. It created the Java project. Now, so once we create this Gradle project, guys, let's observe clearly. We can execute some tasks in the Gradle. In the Maven, we call it as Maven goals. In the Gradle, these are called as Gradle tasks. What are the tasks we can execute? Task nothing but that action Gradle has to perform. Let's go for Gradle tasks. When I execute a command Gradle tasks, it is telling what tasks we can execute on this project. Now, when I execute Gradle tasks, what tasks we can execute, it is telling that. You can execute several tasks in this project, run task. So when you execute the run task, run this project as a JVM application. If you execute Gradle run, it is going to run this application directly. You can execute to build a task. When you execute to build, it will perform the build process, compile, test, then package application as a jar file, build dependents and build needed, classes, clean, jar, test classes. So build set setup, init, wrapper, distribution tasks, dist jar, dist zip, bundles the project as a distribution zip file or jar file, Java doc, generate the documentation for the project. Okay. So these are the some tasks that are available in the Gradle. We can execute those tasks. For example, if I execute a task, Gradle w.bat, this is my wrapper. Always recommended to perform Gradle operations by using Gradle wrapper. For Windows, what is the Gradle wrapper? Gradle w.bat. Gradle w.bat is used as a wrapper for the Windows. So here I'm using Gradle w.bat space run. When I execute run command, what is going to happen? Now you see. Hello world. Am I able to get the output? Yes, I'm getting the hello world. Let me change the message in my project. Go to app, src, main, Java, in Ashok IT, app.java. It is giving just a hello world. Okay, let me change this message. Welcome to Ashok IT. Welcome to Ashok IT. Like this, I'm changing the message in this Java program. So now, just I am saving the program. Who will compile this program and who will run this program? Do I need to compile? Do I need to run? Or it will be taken care by Gradle? Do I need to compile? Do I need to run? Or it will be taken care by Gradle? Come on, guys. Do I need to compile this project or this compilation will be taken care by Gradle? Gradle will take care of that. How to compile this project by using Gradle? Simple. Let me execute a command called Gradle w.bat. It is my wrapper. You can execute directly Gradle also. You can use the Gradle command also, or you can use Gradle wrapper also. Anything is fine. Gradle space build. When I execute Gradle space build, what will happen? It is executing several tasks. It will compile the classes. It will test the classes. It will package the classes. Okay, Gradle build is a success. Now I will execute Gradle run command. When I execute Gradle run command, you see it is giving the program output. Welcome to Ashok IT. So when I execute Gradle run, it is compiling my program. It is running my program also. Okay, now let us see what happened in our project. App build generated in the libs app.jar. Our project is packaged as a jar file also. Whatever the build process is there, nothing but downloading the dependencies, adding the dependencies to the build path, compiling the project source code, executing unit test cases, packaging the project as a jar file or war file. Who is doing these steps? As a programmer, I'm doing these steps, or my Gradle is doing these steps? Am I doing these steps manually, or my Gradle is doing these steps, guys? Am I doing my build steps manually, or my Gradle is doing the build steps? Come on. Build process is automated or build process is not automated? Guys, so by using this Gradle, our build process is automated or build process is not automated? Who is compiling my project? Who is packaging my project? Who is executing my project? Who is compiling my project? Who is packaging my project? Who is executing my project? Come on. Who is compiling my project? Who is executing unit tests? Who is packaging my project? Everything is doing by Gradle only. Gradle is doing all the tasks. So now, can I say Gradle is a build tool? So what is Gradle? Gradle is an open source build tool. So it is used to automate project build process. So what is build process? Compiling the project, executing the unit test cases, packaging the project as a jar file or war file, that is called as build tool. What are the build steps that we need to do for the project? Everything can done by Gradle. Similar to the Gradle, what are the other build tools available? Ant and Maven are called as build tools. Okay, so we have done the Gradle setup and we are able to create the Gradle project, Gradle init command. What is the purpose of Gradle init command? Can you guys tell me? What is the purpose of Gradle init command? Come on, guys. What is the purpose of Gradle init command? I need response. What is the purpose of Gradle init command? It is used to create a Gradle project. So once we create a Gradle project, we can see the folder structure like this. Build.gradle, Gradle wrappers, Gradle W, Gradle w.bat, settings.gradle. Like this, some files and folders will be generated. Okay. SRC main Java, which is used to write the source code of the project. Test Java, which will contain unit test classes of the project. Build.gradle file, which is a build script. There we will use Groovy to write the build script in the Gradle. We need to write that build file. We will write that. Before going to write it, I'm able to create the project and I'm able to compile my project. I want to compile my classes. Okay. Gradle space compile Java. This is one task for the Gradle. I'm telling to Gradle, hey Gradle, compile Java. When I use Gradle compile Java, it will perform compilation of the project. It is going to perform compilation of the project. So this is a task. See here, when I give Gradle compile Java, it is compiling my project. When I execute Gradle build, it will compile and it is going to package my project as a jar file. When I use Gradle run, it is running my class. Whatever the main class is available in the project, that class also executed by Gradle. Gradle run command is executing that main class also. Okay, so fine. So once the Gradle project is created, you can execute the commands like this. Gradle tasks. What is the purpose of this command? It will display all Gradle tasks. It will display all the Gradle tasks. So what is a task? Task in Gradle, everything is represented as a task. The action which Gradle is going to do is called as a task. In Gradle, everything is called as task. Okay. So now I'm going to give Gradle compile Java. Compile Java is a task. It is used to compile Java classes. What are the Java classes available? Those Java classes will be compiled with this compile Java task. Okay, guys. Now we will use a command called Gradle build. So it is used to compile. It is used for compile plus unit test plus package. All the work will done by Gradle build task. Similarly, we can use Gradle test. It is used for testing purpose. Okay. Now, if I use Gradle run, it will run our application class. Whatever the main class is created, it will run our application main class. Whatever the main class is available in our application, that main class will be executed by Gradle when we use this Gradle run command. Okay. When we use Gradle run command, it is going to execute our application main class. Now, how to declare dependencies in the Gradle, how to declare repositories in the Gradle, how to customize the jar file name, how to create var file name, how to declare dependencies, all that stuff we need to understand. Before going to do that, are you clear with how to create a Gradle project, what files will be created in the Gradle, and how to execute Gradle tasks? Are you clear with that? Are you guys clear how to create a Gradle project and how to execute Gradle task? Yes. So now I will ask you a question. I will ask the questions. Can you please tell me what is Gradle? Guys, could you please tell me what is Gradle? What is Gradle? Gradle is build tool. What is the main purpose of the Gradle? What is the main purpose of the Gradle? It is build automation tool. So it is build automation tool. What is Gradle wrapper? What is Gradle wrapper? Can you guys tell me what is Gradle wrapper? What is Gradle wrapper? Gradle wrapper is used to run the Gradle project without installing the Gradle software. Okay. Gradle wrapper will help you to run the Gradle commands in your system without installing the Gradle. Okay. So tell me, what is the command we will use to create a Gradle project? Which command is used to create the Gradle project? Gradle init command. So now I want to compile my classes by using Gradle. What is the task for that? How to compile the classes of my project? Gradle compile Java. Gradle compile Java. What is the purpose of Gradle build task? What is the purpose of Gradle build task? What is the purpose of Gradle build task? Compile plus unit test plus package. Compile plus unit test plus package. Okay. What is the purpose of Gradle run task? What is the purpose of Gradle run task? To run the application main class. Where the Gradle script will be available. Where the Gradle build script will be available. Where the Gradle project build script will be available. Build.gradle file. Build.gradle file. Which language we can use in the build script? Which language we will use in the build script? Groovy or Kotlin? Java, na? Not Java, madam. Groovy or Kotlin we can use in the Gradle scripting. Okay. Kotlin or Groovy we can use in the Gradle build script. Now, the most important part to work with the Gradle is how to write Gradle build script. how to work in the IDE. I will come to that later, guys. So listen. How to write build script in the Gradle. Okay. How to declare build script in the Gradle. That part we need to understand. Okay. So how to work with build script in the Gradle. So to work with the build script in the Gradle, first let's understand. This is the most important part, guys. In the interview also they will ask this. Build.Gradle. How we have pom.xml file in the Maven, in the Gradle we will have build.Gradle file. So in this build.Gradle file, we need to write the Gradle scripting. The configuration that is required for the Gradle, how we will write the Maven pom.xml. Similarly, we need to write build.Gradle file. In the build.Gradle file, I'm using Groovy DSL, domain specific language. Domain specific language I'm going to use. The first thing that we will write is plugins. What plugins you want to use in the project? Do you want to use Java? Do you want to use Spring Boot? What you want that you can specify as a plugin. For example, for this project, I need Java, IDE, Java. Plugins, IDE, Java. I want Java in order to run this project. I need Java to run this project. And the next one is dependencies section. What are the dependencies you want to use in this project? Okay, so dependencies, I want to use dependency like MySQL connector. I want to use dependency as a MySQL connector -j. Okay, and I want to use a dependency test implementation. I want to use JUnit dependency for my test implementation. MySQL connector dependency, I need to connect with the database. JDBC driver I need. Instead of I am downloading the driver, I'm telling to the Gradle to download that driver. So this is a test implementation. That means this JUnit jar file is required only for the test. MySQL connector is required for the compile time as well as for runtime. To compile my project, to run my project, I need this MySQL connector. JUnit is used only for the test compilation, test execution. So we will configure the plugins. We will configure the dependencies. And similarly, here we can configure repositories also. Here we can configure repositories also. From where you want to download the dependencies? I want to download the dependencies from Maven central repository. So this MySQL connector jar file, I want to download from the Maven central repository. Okay, here you can configure Maven central repository, and here you can configure plugins that are required. What are the repositories you want to use? What are the dependencies you want to use? You can configure here. You can configure here. Like this, we are going to write our build.Gradle scripting. Okay, in the build.Gradle scripting, we will specify what plugins we need, what repositories we need, and what are the dependencies we need. So I want to use a Hibernate dependency. I need to declare that a Hibernate dependency here. I want to use a servlet dependency. I need to declare in the dependency section. I want to use a Spring Boot. I need to declare that Spring Boot dependency here. What are the dependencies you want for your project? Those dependencies we need to declare in the dependencies section. From where we need to get the dependencies? The dependencies should be downloaded from the Maven central repository. We can configure the repository section here. What plugins you want to use for your project? We need to configure that in the plugins section. We need to configure that in the plugins section. Okay, so which version of the Java you want to use? That also you can configure here. Source compatibility. Source compatibility is equal to 1.8. Target compatibility is equal to 1.8. That means I want to compile my project by using Java 1.8 version, and I want to run my project by using Java 1.8 version. Maybe in my system Java 11 is available, but for this project I want to use Java 1.8. Source compatibility I want to use Java 1.8. Target compatibility I want to use Java 1.8. Which version of Java you want to use in your project, that also you can specify by using these options in the Gradle script file. Gradle script file. Are you guys clear with my point? In the build.gradle, as I told you, build.gradle file will be available, which contains the script, which is the input for the Gradle. What will be there in the build.gradle? Plugins will be available, Java version configuration, which repositories you want to use, which dependencies you want to use, and if you want to set the name for the jar also you can configure. Okay, archive base name. I want my jar file name like this, app. Archive base name, archive version, which means what name you want to use for the jar file or which version you want to give for the jar file. Version I will give as 1.0. Version I am giving as 1.0. Like this, we are going to write Gradle script, guys. Like this, we are going to write the Gradle script. Plugins, source compatibility, target compatibility, repositories, dependencies, and jar configurations. Are we going to do these configurations every day, or it is one-time activity in the project? Are we going to do these configurations every day, or it is one-time activity in the project? Come on, guys. It is one-time activity in the project. It is one-time activity in the project. So now, with this we understood what is Gradle project and what is build.gradle, what is Gradle wrapper, what is Gradle W, Gradle bat, settings.gradle. Okay, and we understood Gradle tasks also. Once we have the Gradle W, once we have the Gradle file, then we can execute Gradle task. In the Gradle, everything will be represented as a task. I want to compile my classes, so compile Java is task. I want to run my application, Gradle run, that is a task. I want to create a jar file for my project, Gradle jar, that is a task. I want to execute unit test cases, Gradle unit test, that is a task. So in the Maven, we have goals. In the Gradle, we have tasks. In the Maven, everything is called as a goal. Maven clean compile, Maven package. Those are the goals in the Maven. But in the Gradle, everything is a task. Gradle build, Gradle run, Gradle jar, Gradle test, Gradle init, Gradle task. Everything will be represented as a task in the Gradle. Everything will be represented as a task in the Gradle. Are you guys clear? Perfect. Now here, guys, let me create one Gradle project in the IDE so that we will get the more clarity. Let me close my command prompt. Let me create the developers will create the project in the IDE, right? Let me create one Gradle project in the IDE. Unit testing will done by JUnit only. Shishir, unit testing will done by JUnit only. Gradle will execute unit test classes, man. Maven test goal. Maven will do the unit testing. Maven will execute the JUnit classes. Maven will execute JUnit classes. Similarly, Gradle will execute JUnit classes. That's it. Now, let me create one Gradle project by using. IDE. Okay. File, new Gradle project. Okay. In every IDE, by default, Gradle plugin will be available. If Gradle plugin is not available in the IDE, you can go to help, Eclipse Marketplace. You can install the Gradle plugin in the IDE. In the latest IDEs, Gradle will be available by default. If the Gradle is not available in the IDE, you can install the Gradle. How to install the Gradle? In the Eclipse. Go to Eclipse IDE, which we are using to develop our Java applications. Go to help, go to Eclipse Marketplace. Go to Eclipse Marketplace to download that Gradle plugin for the IDE. You can simply type Gradle, enter. It will show you Gradle plugin. You can add the Gradle plugin for Eclipse and you can restart your Eclipse. But in the latest IDEs, this plugin will be available by default. In the latest IDEs, plugin will be available by default. I'm searching for that. Yes, you see Gradle build pack 3.8.x. If you click on install, Gradle will be installed in the IDE. Okay, guys. But in my IDE, Gradle is available as a default plugin. In the Spring Toolsuite IDE, in the IntelliJ IDE also, that Gradle plugin is available. Okay. Now let us see how to create the Gradle project in the IDE. Go to File, New, Other, File, New, Other. There you can type one option called Gradle. When you type the Gradle, you will get the option called Gradle project. Okay, click on this. Next, project name. What name you want to use for the project? My first Gradle project. Okay, my first Gradle project I am giving like this. Any name you can give. My first Gradle project. Click on next. Now click on next. It is creating the Gradle project for me. Guys, observe how I will execute the Gradle tasks now. You will get more clarity. My first Gradle project is creating in the IDE. Now I will write the build.gradle file from scratch so that we will get more clarity. Next 20 minutes is very crucial. Please stay focused. Next 20 minutes is very crucial for the Java developers as well as for the DevOps people. As of now, we understood Gradle theoretically. Now we will understand practically. Concentrate. Next 20 minutes is very crucial, guys. I'm creating the Gradle project in the IDE. I'm creating the Gradle project in the IDE. Once this project is created, then we can perform operations on the project by using Gradle. It's taking time to create the project. First time I'm creating the project in the IDE. People who are watching from YouTube, able to follow, able to understand the purpose of Gradle and how to work with Gradle. People from Zoom. For DevOps people, this IDE concept is not required. You just see how I am creating the project. That's it. For DevOps people, this IDE is not required. IDE will be used by developers to create the project. That's it. You don't need to work with this IDE. Yeah, still it's taking time to create the project, guys. It is a little slow. Once the project is created in the IDE, you can see this left side structure. Once the Gradle project is created by using IDE, you can see this left side structure. SRC main Java, which contain our source code, unit test code of the project. Okay, and build.gradle file. There we will write the build script for the Gradle. Gradle W, that is the wrapper for the Linux machine. Gradle w.bat, that is the wrapper for the Windows machine. Settings.gradle, which contains the project name information. This is the project structure that we can see. Okay, yeah, still it is taking time. Yeah, maybe because of first time I'm creating, it is taking the time to create the Gradle project. Okay, or else let me do one thing. Let me open another workspace. I'm trying to open another workspace. Let me do it there. I'm opening my another workspace, guys. Yep. So this is my another workspace. So I will try to create the Gradle project here in this IDE. So this is a new workspace. It is taking time. So let me use existing workspace. File, new, other. Gradle project option is coming. Click on next. Project name I am giving as 01 Gradle app. Next. It is starting the Gradle daemon, trying to create the Gradle project. I think here also, yeah, here it is completing little faster than previous workspace. Yeah, here it is finishing little early. Good. Gradle 01 Gradle project is getting created. Click on finish. So if you observe, my Gradle project is getting created here. Previous one is taking time. Let me stop it. That was taking time. I will stop that. Okay, let me close it. Yeah. So here my 01 Gradle 1 app is created, guys. So you can see the console, build successful project is created. So here if you observe, SRC main Java, one library class is created by default. This is my Gradle project folder structure. This is my Gradle project folder structure. One library class is created. And here SRC test Java, one test class is also created. Then JRE library is added as 1.8. Project dependents. By default, it downloaded some jar files. And Gradle wrapper is available. Gradle wrapper jar. And Gradle build file, Gradle wrapper, Gradle bat, settings.gradle. In the settings.gradle, some commented lines are available. Remove them. It is having only our project name. My root project name is 01 Gradle app, settings.xml. Library files are available. Let me remove them. Go to build.gradle. Build.gradle having something, some information is available here. I want to remove everything. Okay, I will do it from the scratch, guys. I will remove all the classes which it has created. Remove this Java class, test class, remove everything. Go to build.gradle file, remove everything. Nothing is there. My project is clean now. Just one empty brand new project is created. Build.gradle file is also empty. SRC main Java is empty. SRC test Java is also empty. There is nothing available. It is just one brand new Gradle project. It is just one brand new Gradle project. Clear? Now, in this Gradle project, we can create our classes and we can compile, we can package, we can execute, we can declare our files, whatever we want. Let me write the build.gradle. So as we discussed, build.gradle file will contain the information related to plugins. Okay, plugins. I want Java plugin for this project. ID Java. That's it. I want a plugin called Java. You can write multiple plugins also. Right click on the project. Right click on the project, Gradle, refresh project. When I refresh this project, you can see SRC main Java, SRC test Java, JRE is coming. Whenever I add the plugin as a Java, Gradle is understanding that it is a Java project. It needs Java related settings. SRC main Java, SRC test Java is coming when I add a plugin as a Java. Okay, fine. Similarly, I'm going to configure source compatibility. Source compatibility is equal to 1.8. And I will specify target compatibility is equal to 1.8. I want to develop this project and run this project by using Java 1.8 version. So plugins Java represents Java related settings are required for this project. Source compatibility is equal to 1.8. Target compatibility is equal to 1.8. That's it. Let me create one simple Java class here. New class in.Ashok IT. I'm taking one class with a name called welcome. A simple Java class I have created. In this class, I will write my main method. In this class, I will write my main method. In this main method, I will write one system.out.println. System.out.println, welcome to Ashok IT. Just to execute this project, I'm writing one class. Welcome to Ashok IT. Now, my Java file is available. Okay, My Java file is available. I configured plugin ID, source compatibility, and target compatibility. Go to the project, workspace, 01 Gradle app. Now, this is my Gradle project. This is my Gradle project. Bin is available. Whenever we develop the program that is already compiled, IDE is doing that compilation. Now, here build.gradle file is available. Let me open my command prompt and I can execute my Gradle tasks. Okay, so let me execute a command called Gradle space build. When I execute Gradle build, it will execute the build task. Okay, compiling that. It is compiling the project and it created a build directory. When we execute Gradle build command, it created a build folder. So we will see what will be there in the build folder. In the Maven target folder will be created. In the Gradle build folder will be created. Okay. In the Gradle target folder will be created. In the Maven target folder will be created. In the Gradle build folder will be created. It is still executing that build goal. Yes, completed successfully. Build is successful. Two tasks got executed. Now see, when I will execute the build goal, build folder created. Inside the build, classes folder created. All the dot class files are created inside this. Dot class files are created. And libs directory created. Inside the libs directory, Gradle application jar file is created. Okay, Gradle jar file is created. For example, if I execute Gradle clean, build folder is available now. Now see, Gradle clean. When I execute Gradle clean, now you see it deleted that build folder. So whenever we perform the build by using Gradle, it will create the build directory with all the output. Compiled classes, dot class files will be created. Packaged files will be created inside the build directory. When I execute Gradle clean command, that build directory got deleted. Again, if I execute Gradle build, again build directory will be created. You can use Gradle or you can use a wrapper. Anything is fine. Gradle or Gradle wrapper. So I'm using Gradle wrapper build. When I execute build again, it is executing compile Java. It is compiling that. It is compiling my classes. It is compiling my classes. It is taking time to do that. Build process. Yes. Completed. Build success. When the build is success again, build directory got created. In that build directory, dot class files are available in the classes folder. Jar file, project packaged as a jar file. That jar file is also created here. Now, do you understand what is Gradle clean? What is Gradle build? Gradle init, Gradle tasks, Gradle run, Gradle clean. What is the purpose of Gradle clean? It will delete build directory. Okay, Gradle clean, it will delete build directory. Are you guys clear? Yes, I have configured plugins, source compatibility, target compatibility. Similarly, we can configure repositories also, from where it has to download the dependencies. I want Gradle to download the dependencies from Maven central repository. Like this, you can configure that, hey, Gradle, you download the dependencies from the Maven central. Like this, I can specify the repositories from where it has to download the dependencies. From where it has to download the dependencies, that we can specify like this. that we can specify like this. Either Maven from central repository, you can download it. Understand? Now, I want to download one dependency. Dependencies. I want MySQL connector dependency. We can specify dependencies like this. We can specify dependencies like this. How to specify the dependencies? You can search for the dependency in the mvnrepository.com. So how you will search for the Maven dependencies? Similarly, you can search for the Gradle dependencies also in the mvnrepository.com. Go to mvnrepository.com. I want MySQL connector. Okay. Check for MySQL connector. In the mvnrepository.com, MySQL connector J. MySQL connector J is available. Okay. So if you go to this version, it will say you, do you want MySQL for Maven project? If you want for Maven project, like this, you need to take the dependency. If you want for the Gradle project, like this, you can take for the Gradle project. Implementation group. So now I will add the dependency as implementation group for the MySQL. So what is the meaning of this? This Gradle will download MySQL connector for our project. When it will download for the project, I have configured Maven central repository. I have added MySQL dependency for the project. After adding the dependency, right click on the project, Gradle, refresh Gradle. I have done the Gradle refresh. You see the dependence. Can you see MySQL connector jar is downloaded? Guys, can you see MySQL connector jar file is downloaded to my project build path? Did I download the MySQL connector or Gradle downloaded that MySQL connector? Did I downloaded that connector or Gradle downloaded that connector? Gradle downloaded. So can I say that downloading the required dependencies, adding the dependencies to the build path is doing by Gradle? Compiling the project source code is doing by the Gradle. Executing JUnit test classes, JUnit unit test classes. Can I say it is doing by Gradle? Can I say my project is packaged as a jar or var? Yes. My package is projecting as jar. My project unit test cases are executing. My project is compiling. My project dependencies are downloaded and the dependencies are added to the build path. So this is build process. Am I doing that build process or my Gradle is doing that build process? Am I doing that build process or my Gradle is doing that build process? My Gradle is doing that build process. I have configured plugin as a Java. That means I'm telling to Gradle, hey, Gradle, this is a Java project. I need Java related configuration for this project. Use Java 1.8 for this project. Download the dependencies from Maven central repository. So this dependency you need to download and add it to the project build path. So how I configure the dependency? Implementation group com.mysql, MySQL connector J, version of the dependency. I have taken from Maven central repository and I have added the dependency here. And after adding the dependency, go to the project and just Gradle refresh. It downloaded the dependency. Now, I want to build this project as a jar. For that jar also, we can give a name. For that jar also, we can give the name. By using this jar, you can give the name for that jar file. What name you want to use for the jar file, you can specify. Like this, you can use archives base name. So what is the base name you want to use for this? I want to use it as app. I want to use it as app. I want to package this project with a name called app.jar. So I'm specifying jar tag, jar task. It has to create the project with a app.jar. That's it. Okay, refresh the Gradle project, Gradle refresh. Now, here we have the build tag, right? Build folder. Let me delete it. Gradle clean. When I execute Gradle clean, it is going to clean that. That means it will delete that. It failed. 1 minute. Of Gradle bundle property archives base name. It is not able to find that. ARCHIVE spelling mistake. ARCHIVE archives base name. Yeah, there is a mistake in the archives base name. Okay, yes. Gradle clean. Gradle clean is used to delete the build directory. Yes, build successful. So that means my project build folder is deleted. Whatever the output is giving by the Gradle, that output will be stored to build directory. That build directory is deleted. Now let's execute Gradle build now. When I execute Gradle build folder will be created. Build folder will be created. Yes, build folder is created. Then classes, .class files will be available in the classes, libs. You see, app.jar is created. So app.jar, that means I asked this to create a jar with this name. It is packaging my project as a jar file. It is packaging my project as a jar file. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Do you understand how to create build.gradle file, plugins, Java version, repositories, dependencies, jar? Clear? Yeah, someone is asking, sir, can we do the Gradle build in the IDE itself? Yes, you can do it. For that, whenever you create the Gradle project, you can see Gradle task option is coming. Gradle task. When you expand the project, it is giving build is available, run Gradle task. You can run it directly from the IDE also. You can see compile Java is a task which is executed, process resources, classes, jar, assemble, compile test Java, process test classes, test, check, build. When you execute build task, these tasks are executing internally. You can do that build from IDE also, Java developers. Whenever you have a Gradle project, you can see Gradle tasks here. If you go to Gradle tasks, it will display your project and build step. When you expand it, here, these are all the tasks available in this project. Which task you want to execute? Do you want to execute clean? Run Gradle task as clean. When you run the Gradle task as clean, you see build directory deleted. Not only from the command prompt, you can do that even from IDE also. I executed clean. Okay, go to Gradle task, select build, click run Gradle task. When I run the build task, all these tasks are executed. Now you see build folder is created again, libs app.jar is created. You can run that task from the command prompt as well as you can run it from the IDE also. In the IDE, Gradle task option will be available. Suppose if Gradle task option is not coming for you, by mistake you closed it, then go to window, show view, other, you can type Gradle task. That section will come. When the Gradle section is coming here, select it, go to build, select build, run Gradle task. Then build task will be executed. You can do it from IDE also directly. In the IDE, build folder is not created. In the IDE, build folder will not be displayed for you. Build folder you need to check in the project workspace folder. Here it will be available. In the IDE, you can't see that build folder. Okay, even if you refresh also, Even if you refresh it as a Gradle, refresh Gradle project also, build folder will not be displayed here. To check the build folder, go to the project location. There you can see the build folder. Maven target folder you can see in the project ID, but Gradle build you can't see. Both are not same. Both are different tools, right? Maven will have target, Gradle will have build. Maven will have target folder, Gradle will have build folder. What is wrapper? I told you, Ranjan, more than 10 times. What is wrapper? Wrapper is used to execute Gradle tasks without installing the Gradle software in your system. Understand? Gradle wrapper is used to execute Gradle tasks without installing Gradle software. You can run Gradle tasks using Gradle wrapper. Okay. Perfect. Are you able to understand? Are we able to understand how to write this build.gradle file? Plugins, Java versions, repository configuration, dependencies, and jar file. Jar. Okay. Look at this. Now, can I create Spring Boot project by using Gradle? Can we create a Spring Boot project by using Gradle? Okay. Yeah. Observe how to create Spring Boot project by using Gradle. File, new, other, boot application. I want to create a Spring Boot project. To create the Spring Boot project, we need to select a Spring Starter project. I'm giving 02 Gradle app. Here, guys, observe, if you want to create a Spring Starter project, nothing but Spring Boot, either Gradle or Maven is mandatory. You need to select either Maven as a build tool, or you need to select either Gradle as a build tool. Without using Maven and Gradle, you cannot create that Spring Boot project. So I'm using Gradle as a build tool. Group ID, I'm using it as in.Ashok IT, and artifact ID 02 Gradle app. See how I am creating Spring Boot project using Gradle. File, new, other, Gradle project, not Gradle project, Spring Boot project. Spring Starter project. I'm selecting the artifact project name as 02 Gradle app. 02 Gradle app. Click on next. Here, I want to select web dependency to create the REST controller in the Spring Boot. If you want MySQL driver, you can select. If you want Oracle driver, you can select directly. I'm selecting only web dependency. Click on next, click on finish. So with this, my Spring Boot project is creating by using Gradle as a build tool. Still, it is taking time to do that creation. Spring Boot project is getting created by using Gradle as a build tool. Yep. Project is created successfully. You can see that Spring Boot application created. Now, SRC main Java, Spring Boot start class is created. SRC resources, application properties file is also created. Test Java is created. Go to build.gradle file. Wow. See, it is giving build script by default. Java plugin, Boot plugin, dependency management, source compatibility 1.8, Maven central repository. It requires Spring Boot web starter dependency as a implementation and Spring Boot starter tester as the dependencies. Okay. Spring Boot is coming by default. Now, let me go to this application. Let me take a REST controller. Let me take a REST controller. Let me write one method just to test it. Is it working or not? Get welcome message. Welcome to Spring Boot. I'm giving welcome to Spring Boot. That's it. I'm mapping this to get request method by using get mapping with a empty URL. Import the package. So here, whatever the jars that are required for my project, am I downloading these boot jar files or Gradle is downloading all these jar files? Guys, whatever the jar files are available in the build path, did I download these jar files or my Gradle tool is downloading these jar files? Who is downloading these jar files for us? Gradle is downloading these jar files and add it to build path. Okay. Am I writing this build.gradle file or when I create the boot application, this file is coming by default? When I create the boot application, this file is coming by default. File is coming by default. Okay. Fine. Now, can we run this project now? We have a REST controller. Can we package this project as a jar file and can we run this project? Can we package this application as a jar file and can we run this project? Tell me how to package this project. How to package this project, guys? Which task we need to execute? Which task we need to execute to package this project? Gradle build. So I need to execute from the command prompt or I can execute from IDE also. Do I need to execute from command prompt? I can execute from IDE also. Execute from IDE also. Okay. Go to this 0 to Gradle app project. 0 to Gradle app project. Currently, build folder is available in the project or build folder not available in the project. Guys, currently my build folder is available or my build folder is not available. Build folder is not available. Okay, I will compile this from, I will execute this from command prompt cd space 0 to Gradle application. Currently, I'm pointing to 0 to Gradle application. In this application, build folder not available. Let me execute Gradle build. I'm executing Gradle build. Compile Java. It is compiling my Java classes. Compiling my Java classes. Test is also completed. It is doing the test now, executing the unit test classes. JUnit test classes it is executing. My classes compilation is success. It is executing my JUnit test classes. It is executing my JUnit test classes. Build is success. Okay, once the build is success, go to project. Can you see build folder? Build folder available. In the build folder, can you see libs? Can you see the jar file is created? Jar file is created. I don't like this name, this lengthy name. Can we short this jar file name? Can we customize this jar file name? How to customize this jar file name? Go to build.gradle. Build.gradle. Here specify jar tag. I want to customize it. Jar tag. Archives. Base name is equal to, yeah, that's it. I'm giving archives base name. So what is the meaning of archives base name? What is the meaning of archives base name? It will customize the name. Now, let me do the clean and build again. Let me do the clean and build. Gradle clean build. Gradle clean build I'm doing. There we use Maven clean package, right? Here Gradle clean build. Clean build means delete the build directory and again build it. Delete the existing build directory and create the new output. Build success. Go to build directory. Now go to libs directory. App snapshot.jar it created. App 001-snapshot.jar. So whatever the name I have given, for that name it is giving the version also. Remove that version. I don't want to give the version. Okay. Again do the Gradle clean build. It is using the version name. I don't want that version name also. Compiling test Java test. Yep. Build is in progress. Build success. Go to build directory. Libs. Now can you see app.jar file is created? Now can you see app.jar file is created? How I customized that jar file name? By using jar archives base name. So if I tell like this, it will give archives base name. With that name, my jar file is created. So jar file is available in the build libs. Can we run that jar? Yes. How to run the jar? Java space -jar build/libs/app.jar. I'm running my jar file. In that jar file, Spring Boot application is available. Spring Boot REST API is available. Spring Boot will take care of the servers automatically. We no need to set the server also. Spring Boot will take the Tomcat server. So Spring Boot application I have created and I packaged that Spring Boot application as a jar file and I am running that jar file. So that Spring Boot application is giving the Tomcat server running on the port number 8080. Go and access our application. Go and access our application localhost : 8080. That's it. Localhost : 8080. My Spring Boot application which is running here, it will give the output. Welcome to Spring Boot. Are we able to run our Spring Boot application directly? Are we able to run our Spring Boot application directly? As a jar. I packaged boot application as a jar file. I packaged boot application as a jar file and I'm able to access that. Instead of that, we can do one more thing also, guys. To run the boot application, we can do one more thing also. Directly, we can use boot run command. So this my Gradle application is available. Let me execute Gradle clean. What Gradle clean will do? What this Gradle clean will do? Gradle clean deleting the build directory. Currently, do we have the build directory or we don't have the build directory? We don't have the build directory. How to create the build directory? How to create the build directory? Gradle build. we will use a command Gradle build. Gradle build I am using. When I use Gradle build, it will compile, it will package my project. It will compile and package my project. Gradle build. It is compiling and packaging my project. Compiling and packaging my project. Yes, it is done. Build is done. So my project is packaged. My project is packaged. Build it folder is created. Libs, app jar is created. Okay. So fine. In order to do this, we can simply use Gradle boot run. If you use Gradle boot run, it is going to run the boot application. Boot run is one of the Gradle tasks. You see, with the Gradle boot run also, we are able to run our Spring Boot application. With the Gradle boot run, we are able to run our Spring Boot application. It is doing everything, whatever is required. Everything will be taken care by boot run. So this application is executing. Tomcat server 8080 port number. Tomcat server 8080 port number. We can access this project in the browser also. Application started. Localhost colon 8080. Yes. Are we able to access? Application, boot application is running. Just we created the project. Everything is taken care by Spring Boot. Gradle boot run. Gradle boot run. Clear, guys? Fine. So we are able to create the Gradle project and we are able to define jar file name. We are able to define the dependencies in the Gradle. We are able to define repositories in the Gradle. Someone is asking, sir, how can I create a war file by using Gradle? To create a war file by using Gradle, you need to create the plugin as ID war. If you keep the plugin as war, it will create the war file for you. Okay. If you keep ID as a Java, just a jar file will be created. If you keep ID as war, it will create the war file for you, which is used to deploy our web applications. So to deploy that web application, we can use ID war. Got it? Then if you do the build, it will create the war file. If you go to Gradle tasks, second project, build. Okay, let me refresh this project. Gradle, refresh the project. When we refresh this project, as we have Gradle ID var, then go to Gradle tasks, build, run Gradle task. When you run the Gradle tasks, it is going to do boot war file will be created. Build successful, go to build tag, libs. Can you see war file is also created? Can you see war file is also created? How to create a war file by using Spring Boot? By using Gradle plugin. If you use ID Java, it will consider that as a Java application. Jar file will be created. If you want to create a war file, if you give ID war file also will be created. Good. Guys, are you able to understand these Gradle commands? Are you able to understand these Gradle commands? Gradle tasks, Gradle compile Java, Gradle build, Gradle run, Gradle clean, Gradle test. Good. What is Webflex in the Spring? Vijay, that is not for today's topic, man. Today's topic is Gradle. Okay. All good. Fine, guys. So I'm good from my end. We discussed about what is Gradle. Gradle is a build automation tool. By using Gradle, we can automate the project build process. By using Gradle, we can download the dependencies. We can add the dependencies to the build path. We can compile the project to source code. We can execute JUnit test cases by using this Gradle. We can package our project as a jar or war file by using Gradle. So there are several build tools available in the market like Ant, Maven, and Gradle. Okay, so we have done the Gradle setup. Gradle init is a command which is used to create the Gradle project from the command prompt. Once we create the Gradle project, build.gradle file will generate. Gradle W is a Gradle wrapper which is used in the Linux. Gradle w.bat, it is a wrapper to run the Gradle in the Windows. Settings.gradle to configure global settings of the Gradle project. Gradle tasks, it will display all the tasks of the Gradle. Gradle will work based on task only. In Gradle, everything is called as a task. I mean to say compile, test, run, compile, test, build, jar, or var, or run, etc. Everything is called as task in the Gradle. Okay, Gradle compile Java. It is used to compile the Java classes. Gradle build. It is used for compilation plus unit testing plus packaging. Gradle run. It will run our application main class. Gradle clean. It will delete build directory. It will delete build directory. Clear? Good. With this, I'm done from my side. Thank you, guys. Thanks for attending. We'll see you in the next workshop. Okay? Yeah. Thank you, guys. Good night. Good night. Yeah. So for backup videos, this video is available in the YouTube. This video is available in the YouTube. You can watch it once. Thank you. Thanks for watching.